They told me I was chasing a fantasy. That dreams didn't pay bills, and ambition was just another word for stupidity. But I proved them wrong. I turned their hate into the fuel that built my freedom. My name is Aria Dalton, and I'm a self-made entrepreneur. I run an online business that gives me complete financial independence, the kind of life I once begged my family to believe in. But back then, no one believed in me. Least of all, the people who were supposed to love me the most. I grew up in a small town where success meant getting a steady job, clocking in at 9, and praying for a raise every couple of years. My parents ran a small hardware store. Honest work, but the kind that chained them to the counter 6 days a week. To them, security was everything, and risk was foolish. But even as a teenager, I wanted something different. While other kids scrolled through social media for fun, I watched videos on business strategy, e-commerce, and marketing. I dreamed of building something online, a brand, a product, a business that could reach anyone, anywhere. When I told my family I wanted to start an online store, they laughed. My father said, "You can't make money sitting behind a laptop." My mother told me to stop wasting time and focus on real work. Even my older brother, Luke, sneered and said, "Aria, you're not the entrepreneur type. You're too soft for that world." Their words stung, but I stayed quiet. Because deep down, I believed that silence could protect a dream better than arguments ever could. After high school, I refused to follow the family plan of working in the store. Instead, I took 2 part-time jobs, a waitress in the mornings and a grocery clerk at night, just to save enough to start my own thing. When I finally bought my first used laptop, it felt like freedom. But when my father found out, he wasn't proud. He was furious. "You're wasting money on this nonsense while you could be helping the family," he yelled. When I didn't quit, he kicked me out. I was 19, standing on the front porch with a duffel bag, nowhere to go, and no one willing to take me in. I slept in my car for 2 weeks, showering at a 24-hour gym and eating whatever I could afford from the dollar menu. I cried every night, but I never gave up. That's the thing about hitting rock bottom. Once you've fallen that far, every step forward feels like progress. I found a cheap studio apartment and started working full-time as a receptionist. During breaks, I watched tutorials about digital marketing, dropshipping, and affiliate business models. I studied the algorithms behind social media ads, learned how to design a website, and slowly built my first store. It was far from perfect. I sold handmade candles, packaging them myself at midnight, writing thank you notes by hand. For months, I barely broke even. But every small order felt like proof that I wasn't crazy. Then, one night, I received an email. My first bulk order from a small boutique across the state. They wanted 50 candles. It wasn't just a sale. It was validation. I called my mom to share the news. She listened, paused, and said, "That's nice, honey. But are you still looking for a real job?" Her words felt like a punch to the chest. I realized she wasn't doubting my success. She simply couldn't understand it. People who never take risks don't know how to see beyond stability. So I stopped explaining and started building. Within a year, I expanded into home decor and wellness products, reinvesting every dollar I made. I learned about SEO, branding, product photography, and email funnels. I wasn't just a candle maker anymore. I was an entrepreneur learning the language of growth. Meanwhile, my family's store began struggling. They refused to adapt. No online presence, no digital payments, no delivery. When the economy dipped, their customer base dried up. I tried helping them. I offered to build them a website for free, to set up online listings and delivery systems. My father dismissed me with a scoff. We don't need your internet tricks, so I walked away. Again, that was the last time I tried to save people who didn't want saving. By 24, I'd built a six-figure business. I worked from home, sold across multiple platforms, and even hired 2 freelancers to handle logistics. For the first time, I tasted what true financial freedom felt like. No boss, no clock, no begging for permission to live my life. I traveled. I reinvested. I learned about passive income streams, online advertising, and financial management. Every new skill pushed me further from the life my family said I'd never escape. Then one evening, I got a message from my brother, Luke. "Hey, Aria. Can we talk?" We hadn't spoken in years. I hesitated before replying. When we finally met, he looked older, tired in a way that success never looks. He told me the store was failing. Dad's health was worsening. They needed money to keep things afloat. For a moment, I felt pity. Then I remembered the night I stood on that porch, their laughter echoing behind me. Luke said, "You've done really well, Aria. Maybe you could invest in the store." "Help us rebuild?" I smiled. "I offered to help once." "You said my ideas were worthless," he sighed. "We didn't understand back then. We were just trying to protect you. Protect me." That's what they always said when they hurt me. A week later, I visited the store one last time. It looked smaller than I remembered. The aisles dusty, the sign faded. My parents were behind the counter, arguing quietly about bills. My mother's face softened when she saw me. "You look different," she said. I did. Success had a way of changing posture, not pride. My father refused to meet my eyes. I placed a check on the counter, not enough to save the store, but enough to give them breathing room. He stared at it, then at me. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. I looked around the shop that had once defined their lives. "Because I'm not like you," I said softly. "You taught me what fear costs." I just decided to stop paying it. Then I walked out. A few months later, my business hit a new milestone, my first 7-figure revenue year. I didn't celebrate with champagne or fireworks. I celebrated by buying a house with sunlight pouring through every window, the kind of light I used to dream about from the backseat of my car. My company had grown into a full-scale lifestyle brand with multiple product lines. I spoke at small entrepreneurship workshops, teaching others how to turn pain into purpose. Every time someone said, "You inspired me to start," I felt the quiet revenge that words could never match. One day, I received a package from my mother, a small box wrapped in brown paper. Inside was an old photo of me at 16, holding a handmade candle. On the back, she'd written, "We didn't see it then, but you were always the light." I cried that night, not because I wanted their approval anymore, but because I finally didn't need it. Now, I work with hundreds of clients, run a team of creatives, and live entirely on my terms. I still wake up early, make coffee, and open my laptop, the same one I once hid from my father. Except now it's not a symbol of rebellion, it's a symbol of freedom. If you asked me what revenge really means, I'd say this. It's not watching them fail. It's building so high that their laughter can't reach you anymore. Looking back, I'm grateful they doubted me. Because every insult became a lesson, and every rejection became a reason. Their disbelief was the best motivation I ever had. When people ask how I found success, I don't talk about luck. I talk about discipline, strategy, and resilience, the kind of mindset that turns survival into success. I tell them that entrepreneurship isn't just about money. It's about reclaiming control of your life. And that's what I did. I turned betrayal into business, pain into purpose, Hate into financial freedom. These days, my family tries to visit more often. They brag to relatives about how proud they are, how their daughter always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I smile politely when they say that. They'll never know how their cruelty built the fire that made me unstoppable. Sometimes I host family dinners in my new home. Big kitchen, long table, soft jazz playing in the background. I don't do it for them. I do it for the version of me who slept in her car and believed this day would come. As they eat and laugh, I look around and realize something simple but powerful. The best revenge isn't payback. It's peace, because peace, just like success, is earned, not given. And I earned every bit of mine. From betrayal to business success, stories like these remind us that mindset creates money and pain fuels progress. Subscribe now for more entrepreneurship, success, and revenge stories that inspire financial freedom.